In Chapter 34 of the Yoga Vasistha, we will discuss topics such as the state beyond space and time, the third role and the law of milk and water, the state beyond the Turiya, the semimatra of Omkar, the Nirvikalpa Samadhi of the Sabha, and so on. Welcome, my beloved disciple, Lord Rama. I am so glad we're embarking on this part of the explainer today. We are going to completely break down the very fabric of reality together. We're going to make the ultimate state of consciousness absolutely crystal clear.
We're really setting the stage for a profound journey here. It's time to step right out of those worldly illusions that constantly bind the restless mind and instead move toward ultimate, liberating self-knowledge. If you just follow the structure of what we're about to explore, Rama, I promise you, everything is going to change.
Okay, let's dive right into our very first principle, the transcendence of space and time. This comes directly from part 146 of our teachings. Now, Rama, to truly understand reality, you've got to first shatter the boundaries of your own mortal perception. As long as you believe you're stuck in a specific place or bound by a ticking clock, you just can't see the supreme truth. It's like wearing blinders. And this is exactly what verses 17 and 18 reveal to us. The ultimate reality, the Brahman, it's just not bound by physical locations or the passing of moments. It's literally the state beyond space and time. Think about it. There's no here or there, no yesterday or tomorrow when we talk about the absolute truth.
So, what's the deep philosophical truth here? Well, Rama, time and space are basically just constructs of a restless, fluctuating mind. They are exactly like a dream you have while sleeping. They feel incredibly real in the moment, right? But the second you wake up, you realize they were just mental projections all along. The absolute exists purely in universal consciousness, totally unaffected by these artificial boundaries we create. Now, once you manage to break free from time and space, you enter a really critical transitional phase of consciousness. We call this the third preface, and you'll find this in part 147. So you've broken free from the bounds of the clock and the map, but now you have to transition from the individual self into the universal. Here we face this profound duality. We've got individual consciousness on one side and universal consciousness on the other. So how in the world does the barrier between these two actually dissolve? To prepare your mind for this, Rama, I want to share an incredibly powerful ancient metaphor that just perfectly illustrates this merging. This brings us to verse 21, the law of water and milk. The literal meaning here is quite simple, but oh so beautiful. Just as water and milk, when you pour them together, blend so perfectly that they can literally never be separated by the naked eye again, well, in that exact same way, the individual soul and the supreme consciousness merge into one entirely unified existence. The philosophical reality of this law of water and milk is absolutely crucial. You see, in the phase of the third preface, all sense of a separate I completely dissolves into the whole. The jiva, your individual soul, loses all its hard edges. You no longer see yourself as this tiny drop of water separated from the vast milk of universal consciousness. The blending is absolute. It's totally inseparable.
At this point in our journey, you might naturally be wondering, but Sage, what lies beyond even this profound merger of consciousness? Like, what happens after the water and milk are completely one? And Rama, that is the perfect question to ask, because it bridges us directly into the absolute, ultimate states of existence.
And that brings us right to Principle 3, the turiated state, which we detail in parts 147 and 148 of our text. This, Rama, is the absolute pinnacle of spiritual awakening. It's the final destination where all of that striving just ceases.
Let me recite verse 22 for you so you can really grasp this. The state beyond the Turiya. Literally, this means moving past the three common states of human experience, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. But it also means moving past even the fourth state, the Turiya, which is the witnessing consciousness. Turiya Tit is the state entirely beyond that fourth one. Philosophically speaking, Turiya Tit is the ultimate liberation. In this state, the self is completely realized as the eternal absolute. You're entirely free from worldly modifications, you're free from all duality, and you're even free from the mind itself. There's no longer an observer and something being observed. There is only pure, radiant existence. That's it.
But a great question is, how do we actively reach this magnificent Turiya Tit state? Well, part 149 gives us the exact method. The half matra of Omkara. We actually reach this supreme state through the profound vehicle of sound, and ultimately the intense silence that follows it.
In verse 30, I explain the literal meaning of chanting the sacred syllable Om, or Omkara. It's made up of the distinct sounds A, U, and M, but the verse very specifically points to the semen matra, or the half syllable. This is the completely unpronounced silence that immediately follows the chanting of the M.
The philosophical significance of this, Rama, is just breathtaking. This half mantra isn't just some empty pause or dead air. No, it's an unpronounced, vibrating silence that represents ultimate, formless peace. It literally bridges the physical vibration of your voice with the eternal stillness of the cosmos. By meditating on this exact silence at the end of Om, your mind just dissolves into the Turiyatit state. This deep meditation on silence dissolves the mind entirely, which leads us to our final core teaching in Part 150, the Nirvikalpa Samadhi of the Sabha. This is the ultimate resting place of the awakened mind. It's the great assembly of absolute truth. Verse 31 describes this condition literally as achieving a state of complete, unwavering absorption without any mental fluctuations whatsoever. It is a samadhi, a deep meditative union totally devoid of the kalpas. That means it's devoid of any alternatives, any doubts, or any changing thoughts, just pure stillness. Unpacking the philosophical depth of verse 31 reveals that in this Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the illusion of the world completely vanishes. Rama, when you reach this, there's no more world to perceive. There's no more individual ego you have to defend. The mind becomes completely still, formless, and totally absorbed in non-dual reality. It leaves behind only pure, undisturbed truth. Now, it's incredibly vital we pivot from this deep philosophy to how we actually apply it. Oh, Rama, how must you live your daily life equipped with the supreme knowledge? Because it's simply not enough to just understand this intellectually, right? You absolutely must live it. So here is exactly how you apply the wisdom of Chapter 34 to your life. First, actively seek to experience silence. Meditate on that half mantra of Omkara every single day. Second, completely reject the artificial stress of time. Remember that time is an illusion, so please do not let it cause you anxiety. And third, put this knowledge into practice by living out the unity of water and milk. Treat others not as separate, distinct beings, but as seamlessly blended parts of the exact same universal consciousness. Let's quickly review our journey through Canto 34 today. We began by breaking down the illusions of space and time. We then moved right through the third preface, blending the soul with the universe just like water and milk. We explored the absolute pinnacle of Turiyatit, accessed through the silent half mantra of Omkara, which ultimately led us to the unwavering peace of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I want to leave you, my dear Rama, and everyone learning along with us today, with this final provocative thought. If you truly are the eternal, unchanging reality, what is left in this worldly illusion to ever fear or desire? Reflect deeply on this. Because when you finally realize there is absolutely nothing to fear and nothing to grasp, you are already free. Keep exploring this profound text and keep seeking that silence within.